What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing some parts on the Vette to get a better fit for drifting. It took a while to get all the parts in, but they're finally all in now. The boys over at Drift HQ made sure I was taken care of. I got an angle kit, coilovers, and a handbrake setup, and some other little things. So we're going to get to work on all that. I'm going to be showing you the products themselves, take you through a little bit of the installation process on each of those. I might spread it out over a few videos, or I might just make one. It just depends on how long all of this stuff takes and how smoothly it goes. So enough talking, and let's get to it. All right, so we got the car up on a lift, got all the wheels and tires off. Gonna start working on the front suspension here. Got to take these bolts out, 15 millimeters. Disconnect the tie rod, disconnect the ball joints, take off the brakes, the rotor. Pretty much take apart the whole front suspension assembly because the arms and the knuckle are going to be replaced with the FDF angle kit. And probably going to have to remove this brake ducting here just for tire and wheel clearance. Probably going to have to clearance this stuff as well. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So let's buzz all this apart and we'll go from there. So we started tearing into this, taking it apart. I'm working on this side. Pops is working on that side. Get this banged out. So my dad's a master mechanic for GM for over 30 years, and he's done more Corvettes than you could count. Has a snazzy tool here that compresses the spring. You just hook it up on both sides.
Is it unloaded?
And you twist this bar, puts pressure up on the spring, which allows you to get the bolts out of the bottom of the shock mount. And then you got to take the lower ball joint loose. Then you take these 15 millimeter bolts out of the upper control arm, and now allow you to pull all this out as one assembly. So we removed the lower control arm, which allowed us to take these brackets off and pull out the spring. So we're gonna repeat the steps on that side and get this thing fully taken apart. So we got both sides fully taken apart. We went ahead and installed the extended Drift HQ front brake lines, cleaned up the calipers a little bit, and we're gonna start putting this all together. Put the coilovers in, go from there. So here we have the coilovers. I chose to go with silvers. Had the boys over at Drift HQ order some custom ones with the Swift spring upgrade. Helps keep a consistent spring rate throughout its travel. These are the Neomaxes. These have proven to do really well on the Corvettes. So I have a couple buddies who run these. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go with something that the local boys trust and that are proven. So chose to go with these. You can control how soft or hard they ride. Obviously, that's crucial when drifting, you know, if you need to dial in more grip and whatnot. So these suckers are really stout, really well made, without hurting the bank. They're really packaged really well. I took some of the things out already. Comes with the spanner wrenches and some extenders for adjustment. So we'll have to drill a hole in the back of the Vette underneath the carpet to run these through so we can adjust the rear ones without, you know, raising the car up. So that makes it really nice. These things are sick. Can't wait to get them on the car and get this thing slammed down and sitting right. So now I have the whole FDF angle kit laid out on the table here. Got the knuckles, the heim joints, steering stops that are adjustable, super nice. Ackerman adjust plates. Little nut got lost in shipping or something, or might be in the box. I'll look for it. Super nice. Got your lower arms here. This billet adjuster here looks like it's for the caster. Upper arms, probably use the stock bolts. Got your front brake caliper brackets. These join your factory tie rods to the ones supplied by FDF, outer tie rods. And these bolts are probably for the calipers here. Super nice kit. You can tell the quality is definitely what it should be for the abuse that these things are gonna receive. Let's get this thing on the car. So So I got most of this together now. The Ackerman is set at 0, so these holes are dead straight in the center here. It comes with different other Ackerman adjust plates where it moves the hole either left or right, depending on how much Ackerman you want. I'm gonna try it with 0. My Trans Am was 0, I believe. You know, I never really played with Ackerman, so I don't know. But one thing we did notice is that when I got the kit and before putting it on, these bigger, thicker spacers here on the Heims, this big one was on top, which spaced the knuckle down. But when you turned it, you turn the knuckle, this would hit on the bolt, on the shock bolt. So what we did is we flipped them to move the knuckle up, and now it clears. It hits the stop bolt instead of down here. It's close, but it doesn't hit. So that's just one thing to note. I'll show you what it looks like with the brakes on. All right, so it's all put back together. Everything's tightened up. Just got to put the wheels on. So this is what everything looks like. One thing to remember when you have this all together is you're going to want to, before you lock this jam nut down on the Heim, spin these Heims to where they're horizontal because they like to clock and you don't want that angle on the Heims. So make sure they're straight and then lock your jam nut down super tight. So the wheel and tire are back on just for the moment, just to show you guys this. So when you're doing these brake lines, this bracket is usually turned this way and flush. So it comes straight out this way. So what we had to do to make sure that when you turn lock to lock, that this doesn't hit anything, doesn't hit the coil, doesn't hit the frame, doesn't hit the wheel and tire, is clock this forward like 45 degrees. You have to loosen this 10mm bolt, bring this up because it has like a little dowel that sits in a little hole. Loosen it up, clock it forward 45 degrees, tighten the nut back down, and then you might have to clock this either counterclockwise or clockwise, turn it to get the right angle on this. See how this is? It's pretty much straight when it's turned this way. Let me show you how it is when it's turned the other way. So this is what it looks like when it's turned the other way, full lock. Doesn't hit anywhere. So that's just what you do with the brake line. Your situation might look a little different when you do this, but this is what I did. We are going to start on the rear coilovers today. We're gonna get this all taken apart, take the stock leaf spring out, and then show you guys what we got and what we'll be doing. So we compressed the spring. It's up off the lower control arm. We took the sway bar off, took the tie rod off, and we took the shock out. So we're gonna lower the lower control arm down and get this spring out. All right, so I got the rear coilovers out and all set up here. Got the springs preloaded, all tightened down. And I've got these bottom coilover mounts adjusted. Just gonna try this, see where it's at, set the right height, and you know, might have to readjust, move these up higher or lower to get the car settled where we want it. So since the carpet is out of the back, we're gonna drill our holes for these extended dampening adjusters. I'm gonna go ahead and use a little Allen to take off this little set screw here. We'll take that off. That'll allow this sleeve to come off like shown on this other one. They use a speedometer cable for the main part, the inside of the adjuster, and they put this casing over it, but you're gonna wanna drill the hole big enough for this casing to go through. So you're gonna use a 9/32 drill bit to drill the hole. You're gonna measure 5 inches. This is the back of the car right here, and this is the front. So you're gonna measure from this side here on this little lip, 5 inches over, drill your hole, 5 inches. This casing will fit right through the hole. You'll put the sheath back on, stick them both through, put the head back on, put it on your coilover, and adjust the other set screw, and you'll be good to go. And then you'll just slit your carpet so that this can stick through the carpet. And that's it. You can vacuum all this out like I did after drilling the hole, and you're good to go. So I ended up having to drill this hole sideways, or like this angle here. That way this could go through at an angle and not be bending like this, and then it won't rotate. So make sure you drill it at a decent angle. All right, so once you fish it through the floor there, hook it up on the top, tighten down the little Allen set screw, and then put your coilover up in there. Tighten up your 213s and your 24, and then your coilover's up in there. Put the tie rod back on, good to go. So this is what the rear looks like with the carpet back in and all of the molding and trim and all those pieces. Had to slit this, of course, to let these shock adjusters come through, but they kind of just want to do whatever they want, so they don't really lay even, but it doesn't kill me. So pretty happy with how that turned out. So boys, I got this thing back on the ground. Pops and I did the alignment, got this thing low and wide, just how I like it. Got the wheels fitting really good, ride height set where I want it. So let's take a look at this thing. Definitely super happy and super stoked with how this came out. These Apex wheels look super aggressive. Ended up having to go with the 1-inch spacer after the kit was installed and the alignment and everything. Gives it about a ½ inch of poke or so. It's hard to tell in the video. I like the satin black finish on the wheels. They almost kind of look anodized. I went with some VMS stainless lug nuts, open-ended, just in case I get extended studs. Definitely plan on doing those. Don't mind the brake rotors. They have a little bit of surface rust just from washing it. Definitely super stoked with how this thing came out. These Silver's coilovers were easy to install and adjust. I'm glad I went with the 20K front and 10K rear Swift springs. This thing rides proper. Definitely make this thing feel solid and grip up the way it needs to without any body roll or anything, since the FDF kit doesn't utilize the front sway bar anymore. And the FDF angle kit is insane. Plenty of angle. I still have more to throw in it. Actually, let me show you that steering angle right now. So here's a shot of the steering angle. This is almost full lock, just because when you have the car parked and the wheel turned, you don't get the full amount, but this is very close. My guess, I would have to say around 60 degrees. Here's the other side. Definitely plenty of angle. I went with an 18x9 wheel instead of an 18x8.5, just because I like the way it looks. I think the 18x8.5 is a little too skinny with the 235/40/18 tire. So I chose to go with the 9 wide. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. It's about a ½ inch, ½ inch away from hitting the upper control arm. Plenty of wheel clearance there. I could adjust it to go a little bit more, but you just don't know how much tire roll you'll get, and I don't want the tire contacting the upper A-arm at all. So that's just where I have it set. You can adjust these steering stops here. So kit is super sick. The extended brake lines from Drift HQ work perfectly. This kit is sick. If you want the best angle kit for your Vette, I would definitely hit up Drift HQ and get you an FDF kit. You get plenty of angle, plenty of options with it. Thing works amazing, self-steers the way it should. Just feels proper. If you guys need anything for your drift car, especially a Vette, hit up Drift HQ, get you a snazzy FDF angle kit and some sick Silver's coilovers. And while you're there, grab yourself the dual caliper kit with a handbrake. I'll have a link in the description for a discount code, as well as a link for all of the parts I put on this car. So enough talk, let's freaking see how this thing throws down.